Hi, my name is 𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈, and this is Missing Midwest, a true crime podcast about those that have gone missing. Today's story is about 3 little boys, brothers, who went missing, and a dad who knows the truth. This is Missing Midwest, and someone knows something. Hello.
Hey.
Ready to record?
I think so.
We're back.
I got to ask you a question that everybody's wanting to know before we get started.
What?
How excited are you to
Some
know
people might
that
not
you're
know.
having?
Some people might not know. I posted it, but we have thousands of listeners, and not that, I mean, it's
Well,
not,
I'm telling them right now.
okay, tell them first.
We're having a baby girl.
It is. It's a girl. We have 2 boys, and we found out the baby's a girl.
How excited are you, Mama?
I'm excited. I still am in a little bit of disbelief that this is happening. So I truly thought it was a boy. And I was wrong because it is definitely a girl. So
Definitely. We're so excited. I wanted a girl. I did. And Kayla was doing the whole self-talk thing where she was like, I'm going to get a boy and it's okay.
I was preparing myself, but I prepared myself so much. Now I'm a little sad I don't get 3 boys.
Every
I was boy
time
mom.
I cornered her on it. And I was like, if you could pick, she's like, I'd pick a girl. But it's
yeah.
okay. It's okay. Which,
I
of
would
course,
because
of
we already
course.
have 2 of each, but I really didn't care. I could picture myself as a boy mom. I've always seen us with boys, so I was fine with it. But now that it's happened, I'm like, whoa, not a boy mom. I'm trying to switch gears. Roman is very upset that there's going to be Barbies in our house. So he talks about that every day. But other than that,
But then once Roman found out that you get to be like a protective older brother, he was like, yeah, I'll wreck someone.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, now he's just really excited to beat somebody up. He was like, man, I can't wait till someone makes fun of my sister.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but we're
He
not
was
going to hope for that.
10 minutes after everybody else left, he was like, if somebody ever bullies my sister, I'm going to give them to the count of 10 to get their ugly, yellow, and he forgot the rest of them. It was just like 1, 2, 10.
Clearly we've been watching Home Alone.
All right, he's ready. He's ready to go.
Well, do you have any other announcements?
I do. So as of right now, it is past the deadline to be able to get merch delivered by Christmas. So
There's a chance it'll come.
Yeah,
The guarantee's gone.
The guarantee's gone. Yeah.
Sorry.
I just don't want anybody to be like, oh, I'm gonna order this and get it by Christmas and guarantee
don't
because
do
you
that.
can't guarantee. But you get it by the new year.
Now,
going
if
into
you are in
2024.
Kokomo,
you'll be able to pick it up.
you can pick up,
Yes.
and it will be there. But it'll be
KMG.
done by Christmas.
Yeah.
KMG is right in Kokomo on Boulevard, and they're super great. And you can just go in there and pick your order up.
Yep.
So, I mean,
And if the merch, you've waited too long till the merch, that's okay. If you're still thinking about giving Missing Midwest as a gift this Christmas, consider signing your loved ones up for the exclusive content. We will be sending out thank you cards
That's
and
a great
stickers
Christmas
next
gift.
week. So you could put that under the tree, like the little gift card that we send out, or the little thank you card. And we will be giving shout outs to new subscribers on December 23rd. So it'll be a little early, but you can just tell them to listen to the episode on Christmas morning. If they haven't listened to it already, it'll be a surprise for them. By Christmas morning, we will have 13 bonus episodes available. So, and then we have one coming out every single Friday after that. So it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I got Kayla this gift from Crime Junkies like 3 years ago, and she still gets all the bonus content and stuff. And so, yeah, it's a gift that keeps on giving. It's good stuff.
And you get the backlog of all the episodes.
Yep. So when you go and you see those little lock symbols when you sign up for the subscription, those lock symbols disappear.
So you get the backlog of all the ones we've already recorded, and then
Plus
every
all the
week a new
ones.
one. So,
Yep.
Yeah. It'll give you something to do. For Christmas, I would like you all to share our stuff. It's free.
Yeah.
Or maybe do it for the baby. It could be a baby gift. That'd be
There you
great.
go. There you go.
I'm really guilt tripping here.
our best
the best
growth
advertising, the
is
best
when
growth.
somebody else posts about us.
Yes. So if you guys can just go to our
shout out to all of you that have done that.
Yes, there's a lot of you that do that regularly. I love it. Go to our Facebook page and just give it a share, give it a like, or at least or make a post about it telling your friends that you listen to us and ask them to listen to us because it helps a lot.
I got to give a shout out to Edith, one of my students, real quick, because I stole her pencil today.
I was just looking at that pencil.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
We were making silhouettes for our Polar Express train, and I was making a silhouette of Lily.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen a pencil with the grippies on it. But I
when
used to
made
have all of the
silhouette-
colored grippies, and I was like, why does he have that?
Yeah, I needed a
So
pencil.
you stole it from a kid is the answer.
Edith's desk was the closest one to me, and it had a pencil on it. So I grabbed it.
And you stole her grippies.
I think actually I had another student. I said, find me a pencil, and he just grabbed this off of Edith's desk. So thanks, Parker, for Edith's pencil. And
you better return it.
yeah, I will, 100%.
I'll make sure he returns it.
I'm not a thief.
You can't do a true crime podcast and be a
No way.
criminal.
Yeah, not today. Not today.
You know what's stressful? Buying and selling a house. Just over a year ago, we were in the middle of the process and it was overwhelming. I am so thankful that we had someone like Amber to guide us through the process. She knew what to do and when to do it. You were so concerned about pricing and loans, and I was just concerned with the colors and the layout. Oh, you remember that?
Yes. Amber kept everything in mind, and we are in our dream house because of her. If you are looking to buy or sell in or around the Howard County area, you have to give Amber a call, or you can just give her a text at 765-865-1118.
You can follow her on Facebook at Amber White, Realtor/Broker with 𝒌𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈 Associates. She posts the latest listings, giveaways, and even helpful home tips.
We are so grateful for Amber and all her help. All right. I know absolutely nothing about this case, and it's more fun when that's the way it
this
is.
one really ticks me off. So
Oh, goodness. Here we go. We got an angry mama.
Yep. So we are going to Morenci, Michigan today.
All right.
We're going to go back to 2010, and when we were there in 2010, the population was 2,217. It's like the exact same now.
Wow.
It is the southernmost city in Michigan. It shares the Ohio border, and it has $1 general.
Just one?
Just one. It looks very similar to all of our small Midwest towns. It has a pub, a pizza place, and a Subway.
Classic.
What more do you need?
That is a small town.
That is
it's a Midwest town.
I looked on Google Earth. I love to look on Google Earth. I like maps. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to maps. And I was looking on Google Earth, and I was like, this is my town. We have a bar that serves good bar food. I bet their pub has good food.
Probably
It
so.
doesn't say anything about that, but the one pub. And
Good
then
chance.
the pizza place.
Yep.
And then the Subway. And then the Dollar General. They might have a Chinese place.
I was going to say.
But other than that, that's about all you need to get through.
Yep.
So we are going to go back to the late 90s. A little backstory here. When a man named John Skelton moved to Morenci, Michigan, and he met a lady named Tanya. Tanya had lived there her whole life. She grew up there. They both had kids from previous relationships. They formed a friendship, and they eventually got married. And together they had 3 boys, Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner. They enjoyed the life that they lived. It was, the small town life. Tanya grew up there. She knew everybody. Everybody knew her, and they made a life together. Unfortunately, the relationship after a few years got off track a little. John was a long-haul truck driver, and so I think that would be a really hard relationship to be in anyway.
For
like
sure.
just with that, just the truck driver aspect of it. However, he struggled with drinking, and so he struggled to keep a job. So he was like, you can't have a drinking problem and drive for a living.
Sure.
And so he kind of skipped around to these different trucker jobs. Obviously, this put a financial strain on the family. He had to pay child support for his previous child. And so in 2003, they had to file bankruptcy. And then right after that, John lost another job due to drinking and driving. And so after that, he just completely changed who he was. He withdrew from people, and he just started. All he did would play video games and play computer games and not talk to anybody.
Not recommended.
No, let me just say, I'm out. No, I would not be there for my grown husband playing video games every day. That would make me more mad than anything, I think. And so, yeah, that's just all he did. He just didn't work and just played video games and let Tanya work and raise these kids. He didn't help with the kids. He just completely
Not cool.
stopped being an adult, basically. And so after all of this, he was fighting depression, which I understand. It was a depressing time for him, probably, but also you're a dad, your husband,
Also, you're responsible for this, man.
figure it out. Yeah, video games aren't the answer. But he started talking about moving to Florida.
That's got to make anybody feel better.
I was like, that's not a bad idea, John.
From Michigan, get out of here.
Right? He had family down there, and he said that the job prospects were better. That weather's got to make anyone feel better. Right. It's got to help with depression. Tanya was like, hell no. I've grown up here. I am not moving all the way down to Michigan just so you can
play video games there.
Get your crap together here, and then maybe we'll talk about it. So yeah, she was like, absolutely not. And eventually things boiled over on September 10th when Tanya gets a phone call from the school. I can't even say this without laughing because I don't even know what I would do to you. John had picked up the boys early in the middle of the day and said that they were going on a family vacation to Florida. Tanya was like, what? Exactly. She said, no, she had no way. She's like, we don't have a family trip to Florida.
Kayla would be most upset about the fact that I wasn't taking her to Florida.
That's what I mean when I said I would be somewhat. No. No, I just like get this like mama bear vibe. Like I share my kids with you. They're yours just as much as they're mine. I don't care. I would.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this. So
I would put you on my podcast.
You can settle down.
I'd put you on my podcast, tell what I did to you, and then take myself to the police station.
You're going to Florida.
So well, it wasn't the fact that he was going to Florida. He took the kids.
I understand.
Without telling her. So, I mean, I would be pretty ticked if you went to Florida, but don't be taking my kids without telling me where and what they're doing. And so she's flipping out. She's like, no, I have no idea what's going. She assumed John just lost his freaking mind and decided to move to Florida and take the kids without telling her. So she immediately calls the police. And the police she gives the police his cell phone number, and the police call him. And they're like, hey, you really can't do this. You can, but like, it's going to be a problem. Because, you're the dad, yes, but you just can't, you can't do that. And so they convinced him to come back home to avoid legal issues. And so he did. He turned around, and he returned home with the boys. Tanya was enraged,
sure,
as I can imagine. And she immediately found a lawyer and filed for divorce, like the day of. She was like, bye, we're done.
Last straw and then some.
Want to know what one of the best decisions I have made for myself lately is? Stanley Cleaning Company. In this season of life we are in, with kids, practices, jobs, and pregnancy, it just makes sense to have a little extra help, and in turn, a little extra time. Christine comes to my house every other week and sweeps and mops for me, and I am not kidding when I say it is the best. She leaves my home smelling amazing and literally sparkling. We thrive in a clean environment as a family, and this service is the best thing I've ever spent my money on. It saves me time and energy, two things I'm greatly lacking lately. It can be a simple sweep and mop or a deep clean, home or office. It can be weekly or monthly. It's whatever you need. Plus, it's a local small biz, and I love supporting fellow business owners and entrepreneurs. Give her a call or text her and let her know what you want done. 765-860-3606. When he found out about the divorce, though, he took the two oldest boys and went back to Florida. And the next day, Tanya got a phone call, and it was from her boys. And they were like, we're in Florida. We're playing in the pool. Like, they were so excited. And so she's like trying to stay calm. And they're talking about how they're going to go visit their grandma and their aunts and stuff because there was family down there.
So like the youngest one just like didn't get the...
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't take the youngest one. I mean, maybe he was more trouble, I guess. I don't know. He was... I'm trying to find the ages in here. They were 5, 7, and 9. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know if he just didn't have access to that one at the time. 5 and 7's
pretty fun. That's what we got right now. I'd love to take them both to Florida.
Yeah. So, Tanya's like, okay, cool. Glad you're having fun. She didn't want them to worry at this point. So, she was just like, yep, daddy took you to Florida. Like, knew all about it. At this point, we're just in like a really nasty custody battle. She hangs up her phone and drives to Florida.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mama bear coming at
she's ticked.
No more kids games here.
I get it. So she's like, I feel so bad for people in situations like this because like he had every right to take his kids to Florida. He's the dad, but like the helplessness of she's about to be in a situation where another person, a judge, has to tell her when and she can see her kids and where, and I just can't imagine that. But yeah, at this point, no judge has told her yet, so she gets in her friggin' car and goes to get her kids. She's like, bye. She drove 18 hours overnight, and she goes there, and so she ends up taking some time in Florida with her family.
Like
it
with
sounds,
him?
Yeah, it sounds like a nice, maybe a little family reset.
Did
His family was there. Yeah, they did take. She took the youngest one, so they all were there. swam in the pool, and they just took some time in Florida, and eventually things cooled off, and they all came back to Michigan together. Things calmed down, okay? A custody arrangement was agreed on. John was working really hard to stay involved with the kids and to help Tanya. Tanya started classes at a local community college, so they were proceeding with the divorce.
But they were trying
really hard, and John was like making an effort, you know.
Okay.
She let the boys stay with John like more and more because he was helping her while she went to class, and she knew, you know, you can't, a single mom, you can't do it all on your own. And everything was going really well. And so that was all like September-ish. That November, it was Thanksgiving came, and Tanya decided that John could have the boys for Thanksgiving on Wednesday, and that he was going to bring them back for like Friday morning because she wanted to take them Christmas shopping for Black Friday. So fast forward to Black Friday. It's late afternoon. Tanya's pissed. Kids are nowhere.
Something bad happened on Thanksgiving.
She was planning to take the boys shopping, like I said, and they were not back yet. John was not answering his phone, not returning calls. So Tanya drove to his house, which is not shocking considering she drove to Florida. So, of course, she's going to drive a few blocks over and answer your damn
speed
door.
Limits on the way to that house.
He wasn't home. She found out a few hours later that he was actually in the emergency room. He had broken his ankle, which, okay, not mad at it. Valid excuse for being late. Where's my kids? He told her that he was trying to commit suicide. And when he tried to hang himself from the second story stairway, it didn't work, and he fell, and he broke his ankle on the floor below. Like, big yikes. Tanya's like, okay, I don't really care. Where's my kids? John wouldn't tell her where they were.
What?
Huge red flag. She immediately called the police. So the police get to John's house with Tanya. She meets him there, and she's like, he's in the hospital. He won't tell me where the kids are. They're not with him. Like, I don't know what to do. When they went inside, very disturbing.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
There's no kids, no sign of any kids. However, when they entered the house, it was completely destroyed. Like Tanya said in a report that if it could be broken, it was broke. And if it could be cut, it was cut. Every single item, everything. Police immediately put an Amber Alert out for all three boys. 9-year-old Andrew, 7-year-old Alexander, and 5-year-old Tanner. They took John's phone and they started to track his last movements. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, they moved John from the ER over to the psych ward, which seems like a,
makes sense.
Intelligent move there.
Yeah.
He just started talking to police and just started giving them like story after story of where these kids were. Like none of them made sense. Like, so at first he said they were with a family friend and that they were going to bring him back soon. He didn't want the boys in the house while he was trying to like unalive himself. And so he just had these friends take him, and they're like, okay, who's the friend? Where are they? Like, we'll go get him. Wouldn't say a name. Then he said that they were with a woman that he knew because, again, he didn't want them to be in the house when he killed himself. Then he's like, JK, I actually gave the boys to an underground Amish organization to protect them from Tanya's abuse. And he has this whole story about how Tanya is just like a crazy abusive mom, and that he didn't want the boys to have to be with her, and so in order to save the boys, he gave them away.
What?
3 insane stories. None of them made sense.
Wait a minute here.
I know.
To save my boys, I gave them away.
Yeah.
And then tried to unalive myself.
Right?
Is what he said.
That's what he's going with. Did you know the Jefferson House of Flowers has been a local Kokomo florist for almost 100 years? Our trained designers make beautiful arrangements for literally any occasion. You can send flowers for any reason. Birthdays, anniversaries, get well, congratulations. The list goes on. We make flowers for funerals, weddings, proposals, and even proms. Let's be honest. Receiving flowers, whether you're at home or at work, it makes you feel special. You get butterflies and you feel loved, and that's what sending flowers is all about, the feeling that it creates. Call us at 765-452-8269 and let us create something special and send it out for you. Or you can stop in and see us at 4300 West, 100 North Kokomo. We always have a cooler full of flowers that are ready to go, as well as a boutique full of gifts. Shop local, support local, and send flowers. Eventually, this is the story he settled on. It's kind of like a a bunch of stories together. He gave the boys to a woman named Joanne Taylor. He met Joanne and her husband, Mark, a few years ago when he stopped on the side of the road to help them with their vehicle that was broken down.
Already don't believe it.
It gets even better. He ended up keeping in touch with them online. Like, hey, thanks for helping with a flat tire. Want to be friends? Like, no. He contacted her and asked her to come pick the boys up and give them a ride back to Tanya's house on Friday afternoon. She came and picked them up in a silver minivan, and he hadn't heard from her since.
On Friday afternoon?
That was his story. This woman that he kept in touch with.
Wasn't she supposed to be going, they were supposed to go Black Friday shopping.
Yeah. Investigators were searching like his house, his car, everything, trying to find clues. They ended up like getting his computer, and they found absolutely no correspondence with anyone named Joanne or Mark or Taylor. Joanne Taylor, Mark Taylor. None of these people, like nothing, like did not seem to exist. There was no communication between them. Nothing. They did, however, find Google searches that had been deleted for rat poisoning.
Oh, no.
They also found a weird message, and it said, I love my wife very much. May God and Tanya forgive me.
That's not good.
Yikes. Big red flag. So the officers, they searched everywhere. They talked to anyone and everyone that may have seen John and the boys in the days before they went missing, and they were able to narrow it down to the last sighting of the boys, which was Thursday afternoon, Thanksgiving Day. Neighbors, more than one neighbor, said they saw the boys playing in the backyard. So K9 search teams, they started there. They started at John's house and moved outward. K9 teams and search teams, I mean. Woods, fields, ponds, river, creeks, anything. They searched it all. The boys' school district that they went to even offered up school buses, and hundreds of volunteers would go to the school and meet, and they would just load up all these different buses, and the buses would drive them out to like the rural areas and drop these loads of people off, and they would just like search. Nothing. Like not a single sign of 3 children. Not in John's house, not in John's car, nowhere. The police eventually gained access to John's phone records, and that's when they were able to really like narrow down where he was at that day. And so the GPS showed that around 4:30 in the morning on Friday, John left Morenci to go into Southwest Ohio. It was literally like on the border.
Northwest Ohio?
Southwest. Northwest?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Like I said, it was literally on the border. His phone then pinged in a city, Holiday City, which was just 20 minutes away from his house, but was in Ohio City. Yeah. The phone then was turned off, and at 6:45 a.m., the phone came back on, and it pinged back in Morenci. So, like, literally, he drove 20 minutes from his house to a tiny little city and then drove home. Like, in
a different state.
Why? Yes.
I don't set my alarm for 4:30 in the morning.
What was he doing in this town 20 minutes away? There was a lot of rural areas in between, so police were pretty sure they knew what he was doing. They immediately expanded their search area to include that whole area where his phone was pinged. Same thing. Searches, K9, search teams, everybody. They went and did all the rural areas there around Holiday City, in between Holiday City and Morenci. They put out an alert for anyone that may have seen. He drove a blue Dodge Caravan like Thursday or Friday. Anyone that saw them driving, it was like on the Ohio Turnpike, so it would have been easy for him to just kind of blend in with all that traffic. Right. They also put an alert out for anyone that knew a lady named Joanne Taylor that drove a silver van. Nothing ever came up about anyone that saw anything. After days and days of searching went by, John stuck to his story completely. He was charged with 3 counts of parental kidnapping on November 30th. And at a hearing on December 16th, John told a judge that he had last seen the boys on Thanksgiving night when he handed them over to a stranger in a van that belonged to an Amish organization. He refused to name the organization. He said he has no idea where they took the boys, but he did it for the boys' protection because he did not want them to live with Tanya. The judge ruled him in contempt of court for refusing to say the name. and ordered him to be held in custody. He was in contempt of court.
Yeah.
A month later, they bring him back to a trial. He refused to say where they were again. Judge is like, contempt of court. So that's what it was at. He was just refusing to say who he gave the boys to.
So either this dude's absolutely crazy, or you're about to tell me some wild stuff about Tanya.
Listen up. If you're a small business owner like myself, you understand the value of time. There is always something to be done, and it's up to you to do it. Your business is your baby, and you rarely can trust others with it. But what if I told you that I had somebody that you can trust, someone that can save you time and help your business grow? I do. With Bo Digital, you have access to an entire team that will be there for you with marketing and advertising. It doesn't matter what the size of your budget or your business is. Bo can help you take the stress of marketing off your plate and free up your time to do more of the things you love to do with your business. Bo is a marketing company and a business partner, but my favorite thing about them is that they have become true friends. You can find out more about them and what they offer at bodigital.com. Take it from me and put a bow on it. I have nothing on Tanya.
So this dude's crazy.
Everyone's like, Tanya did not abuse her kids.
Yeah.
In February 2011, the Morenci PD announced this is no longer a missing persons case, but a murder investigation. But with no bodies and no evidence of a murder, John was only charged with kidnapping and unlawful imprisonment, and he was sentenced to 10 to 15 years.
So what makes him think they're dead?
I don't know why they switched from a missing to a murder. They never said. They just said that they believe that this is a murder investigation now. But, I mean, they have nothing. They have no evidence of a murder. They have no bodies. They literally could not even begin to charge him with murder. So he's, like I said, kidnapping and unlawful imprisonment, 10 to 15 years, even though they believe, they believe he murdered them.
What year did you say this was?
2010 is when it all started. 2011 is when they ruled it the missing person case. And he pled guilty in 2013. He pled guilty not to kidnapping and unlawful imprisonment. And then in 2013, the Morenci Police Department requested that the Michigan State Police take over the case because they had so much more resources. Years have passed, obviously. Every lead is followed up on. There's only two instances of tips since then. In 2017, the remains of 3 small children were found in a shed in Montana. Immediately, police were like, that might be them, even though there was no ties to Montana at all. But DNA showed not a match. And then another tip came in 2019. A woman in Ohio called, and she said that she believed she saw John and the boys in their blue van back in 2010 on Thanksgiving Day, and she had some information that only the police had. So they were really hopeful. So they freaking head back to Holiday City and have a whole new search. A really in-depth, they had divers, and like I said, they brought in everybody, uncovered nothing. Since then, there have been 0 sightings of Andrew Alexander or Tanner. John was denied parole in 2020, and then he declined to attend his parole hearing in 2021. Tanya is determined to prevent him from getting out. She wants him to serve the full 15 years. And she has been quoted as saying, "I will never quit looking. I will continue to fight on their behalf for justice. I hope that at the 20-year mark, I'm not having to give interviews to mark that date, that we will have answers before then. 10 years ago, I could not fathom sitting here still asking for answers." And that is it. That is this missing Skelton boys. Is that not mind-blowing that 3 human beings just vanished like that? I don't know how I feel about it, because I just don't know how somebody kills 3 kids and leaves nothing, not a shred of evidence.
I'm very confused by the whole situation.
A lot of people think he didn't kill him and he gave the boys away.
Yeah.
A lot of people. He's perfectly fine with serving his 10 to 15 years for kidnapping. He's like, okay.
Yeah. See, my thing is, when you were telling me about this, and I'm like, let him out. Let him out. Track him.
Yeah.
Let him out and watch every second of his life. Watch his search histories. Watch everything. Because guess what? If I would never, first of all. But, I guess he's not a sane person, so this won't apply. But, if you gave your kids away and you knew where you were giving them to, the expectation would be that they would grow up. They'd be men now. These kids would be men now.
I'll post. They have done age progression photos of them the whole
they'd be
time,
in their 20s. How would you not expect to reconnect? They're safe from Tanya now. They're grown men. Let him out.
Yeah.
See what happens. track him. But the other thing I kept thinking too, though, is like, I mean, this guy doesn't sound like the brightest tool in the shed. Sharpest tool in the shed? No, I'm not a sharp tool anymore. The sharpest tool in the shed. What if, you know, I mean, I'm like sex trafficking. Like,
yeah.
Hey, we have this Amish camp that you can send us your kids, and it's off the grid.
I don't know.
And it keeps, I mean, who knows? Like, who knows? But, you know, this woman that he's making up, I mean, that's pretty specific.
I think he probably just didn't want to give control to his wife. And instead, rather than let her parent them, he got rid of them. My only thing is I don't know how he got rid of them.
Yeah.
I think it would be very hard to, but I say that all the time. I think it would be really hard to murder somebody and not leave any evidence. But people do it all the freaking time. Idiots.
Well, yeah.
They get away with it.
I mean, but also like the trashed house.
Like
that's
It sounds like he had some sort of mental break for sure.
But so that's what I'm saying. Like, how can you have a mental break and leave no evidence? Like, you're not thinking clearly. You just wrecked your apartment. It's not like you're going to be clean and tidy to make sure nothing in your car gets found.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think it's easy to.
Also, the fact that they cannot find out. Like, what was his explanation for driving there in the morning?
I don't know. But he's going to get out and live his life.
I watch everything he did after he gets out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't talk, he's going to get out and no one will ever know. I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, and they haven't found, I mean, you said about how a turnpike there, so it's not that big of a stretch. I mean, 20 minutes, you said it was a 20-minute drive from his house?
Yeah.
Like, that's not that big.
He could have easily met somebody and they could have been across the country.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the most plausible thing is that he really did give his kids to somebody else. And he was dumb enough to believe that that was going to be okay, when it was probably in reality somebody's trying to snatch kids that talked him into it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's so sad. So sad. I can't imagine. I mean, I would never. Like, ugh. Giving up your kids. Like, it's just, oof. Sickening.
Yeah. I mean, like we would say, somebody knows something in this case. So I hope that, I mean, like I said, he's going to do every day of the 15 years. But after that, I mean.
My guess, too, is if he's serious about talking about, I had this woman friend named Joanne Taylor. My guess, her name, not Joanne Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, if that is a real person, I guarantee she wasn't using his name, using her right name. That's, I mean.
I think the Amish thing is interesting, too, because a lot of Amish people, Amish will adopt kids. In their culture and religion, they believe that you're supposed to have a lot of kids. They usually, I mean, a lot of them have 8, 10, 12 kids.
Sure.
And so if there is somebody that can't have kids, naturally, they do adopt a lot, and they do a lot of things. I mean, they don't have to pay the same taxes we do. They don't have to do things. So they do things a lot differently. And so there have been instances of people that have given their children to the Amish and, you know, just given it to them and said, here, raise this kid. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting, too, that he chose to say it was an Amish organization and they don't watch they don't, you know, I mean, if these kids, but the thing is 5, they would remember their childhood.
That's what I'm saying. 9 years old. I mean, Truman is 7.
Yeah. He'd be like, where's my house? Like,
yeah, seriously.
So, I mean, I was with no media and no watching TV and stuff, they could be out there, you know, and not even knowing that they're missing, but so I don't think they'd remember.
I feel like something terrible probably. I mean, I believe he probably gave them away, but nothing good happened to him after that. That's what I fear.
I don't know. I think it could really 50-50 go either way. A lot of people, a lot of things online, a lot of discussion groups and stuff believe, you know, there's no proof. We
should ask our Amish neighbors. Do you guys have camps where like underground Amish things where people can just drop their kids off with you? They're probably gonna be like, no.
Yeah, I don't think they would say yes. But
I mean, like, if you're like, that seems like a sex trafficking scam to me.
Yeah,
I mean, a potential sex trafficking scam.
Yeah, it's just so sad. They're just really cute little boys. So yeah, someone knows something. They say if you do not have any information about these boys, you can call the Michigan State Police at 517-636-0689 or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. Someone knows something.
Someone knows something. This podcast is a So.Will.I.Studos production. So will I.